Hello, welcome back to the Ancram Opera House. I'm Paul Ricciardi, and Jeff Mousseau and I run the Opera House, and we are so glad that you can be with us, our final show of our 5th anniversary season. And we can't think of a better way to celebrate it than with you, and our 10th installment of Real People, Real Stories. And we have a really special show for you today, our Real People, Real Stories Taconic Hills edition. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. And now I have to look at my notes, and of course I can't read them because I don't have my reading glasses on. I'm just gonna have to pick this up. So yeah, well, the first thing I want to say is the theater's empty. We're in our beautiful theater and it's empty, and we can't wait for a time when it's safe for you to come back. But in the meantime, we're so happy to be spending this time with you today on Zoom. So we wanted to say that. Oh, today's show runs just about an hour for those of you that wanted to know. And we'll talk a bit more about what you're going to see today, but just a little sort of heads up, there are going to be 13 stories today, and there are 13 remarkable stories that we'll get to in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to talk to you a bit about what we've been doing to prepare these stories over the past few months. The Ancram Opera House started Real People, Real Stories 5 years ago, and we created our own approach to storytelling. We began giving workshops in the community, libraries, schools, the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival, coaching people in figuring out what story they wanted to tell and then helping them to tell that story. And then I was invited to the Taconic Hills Middle School back in January to give this workshop by my new friend, Beth Flores, who you'll meet in a second. And it went really well. And we decided, let's spend a semester doing this. And so we wrote a grant and we were funded. Thank you very much, Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation Fund for Columbia County. And then COVID hit. And so nonetheless, we did our workshop, and we have been working since late October on the storytelling program, all on Zoom. Well, I was on Zoom. I was beaming in to the school. In many cases, not all, the students were face-to-face in the school, but due to safety protocol, I was being beamed in. So we'll talk a bit more about that later. We had about 140 students, 11 different sections, 11 different classes, and I met with each class 2 times. And what you're going to see today is only a sampling of these stories. Every student was invited to tell their story. We got 13 volunteers, so you're seeing 13 different stories and varying sort of not so much levels of finish. Some stories you'll see are complete, some you'll see me working with them as they tell the story. And now I want to introduce Beth Flores, librarian and teacher from the middle school, Taconic Hills. Hi, Beth.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And you know, one thing that just popped into my head, Beth, was we met in January. I think
Yes.
I've only met you live once. I think, which is just sort of the way of the world. Maybe we have one more meeting, but you know, we've been working, Beth and I have been working together, you know, pretty regularly for a long time now. And it's all been in this context, which is kind of remarkable. So Beth, before you jumped on, I was telling the audience about our process and how we've been doing this. And the other thing I want to say before we get to the stories also is, you know, we're really proud of the stories we're going to show you today. But the other thing, and I'll speak for myself, but I think Beth, you probably feel the same way, is that the process that we've been going through, sort of what was happening in the classroom between you, me, the students, the other teachers, the staff, has been pretty exciting. And I would love to hear you talk about that in a bit. So actually, I have a question for you, Beth, and it is, I've sort of just explained the general process of what we've been going through. What was it like for you? So I'm being beamed in from the Ancram Opera House. My big face is on the screen. What was it like on your end in the classroom? It was exciting and strange for me. It was a bit disembodied, but what was it like for you in the classroom?
It was really a wonderful experience. So my role was to support the students in the activities and the tasks that you were giving them. It was to give that individual feedback. It was to make sure they were focused and engaged, and to make sure that our technology pieces were set up. And I have to thank Ryan Proper.
Oh my gosh.
At the beginning, I know.
Thank you, Mr. Proper.
Yeah, thank you. Because at the beginning of every class, we would have to make sure that you could see the students. We wanted to make sure that you had a visual. So I would either be running around the room, or Ryan would be running around the room doing one of these, making sure that you could see where every student was. And then, and that you could hear them. And we wanted to keep them as engaged as possible. So, you know, sometimes you couldn't hear them based off of the microphone. So they would say something and I'd run it back, but it went well. I mean, we had some classes where we had the students in front of us and they were there in person for me and they were watching you. We had some times where we had the students in front of us and you had a couple zooming in onto the Zoom link. And then we had a couple of classes that were completely virtual. And no matter what it was, it seemed to work.
Yeah.
It really did. It was pretty amazing.
And one of the things that was, it could have been anxiety provoking, those moments at the beginning of every class. So just so the audience knows, Beth was like kind of carrying me on a laptop. I mean, not exactly like that, but every class was in a different room. So we were beginning on Thursdays and Fridays every week, 3 different classes. So she would have to move the equipment to another room and we begin again. And so the students would be watching us set up, troubleshooting, like making sure, okay, Paul, can you see everything? And that was actually a lot of fun. And I was really proud that the students got to see us solving those problems. And what was it like for the students? How did the students react to all this, do you think?
Well, I think it was a really positive experience for them. I was telling you before we came in that, you know, I think some of them just felt very empowered to be able to tell their story. You could see their confidence growing. You know, you started off where they didn't know you very well and they were very hesitant or shy to raise their hand, to volunteer. And then even as that progressed in the one session, you could see that confidence level build and they would raise their hand much more by the end. And then by the second one, they're all waiting to tell their stories. So
yeah.
it was really awesome to see. And the rehearsal, I really enjoyed that. I think they did as well because they had that nice one-on-one time with you to really walk through it on their own. And we gave them some space to be able to do that.
Yeah, that was, you know, it's some of the people who are watching today have seen other Real People, Real Stories events where grownups told stories. And, you know, honestly, the grownups, you know, got a lot more time than these student storytellers today. These storytellers got 2 to 3 hours max. You know, the 2 hours in the classroom, and then that last coaching and rehearsal, which was very fast. So, you know, it was fast. It had to be because they were going to miss the late bus. You know? So the audience is, I just want to reframe this for a second. So what the audience is going to see today, again, it's some stories are complete. And then in some cases, you're going to see me work with a student for a second, and then they might have a redo or a second telling. So people will see both. Beth, the last question I want to ask you before we begin is, I'm just wondering, were there any surprises for you or for the students or the other teachers or staff?
I think in general, I think the surprise that I found the most was that how easily the students could adjust to different types of instruction, because they had you in front of them, they had me live, they had their classroom teacher there as well, and they were patient. They knew they had a way. You know, sometimes we ran into some technology difficulties, and they were just, you know, they just went with it. It was pretty amazing how easily they adjust. That was a pleasant surprise. It really was.
Some of my favorite moments were when you were like with a student in the back of the classroom and they would tell you, you know, share with you part of their story, and then you would shout it across the classroom to the microphone. So that was it was fun.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah, it really did. It really did. And I think the audience members are going to agree when we start in a minute. So we're going to get started in just a minute. One thing I want to point out before we begin is that, you know, audience members will know from previous storytelling, you know, there's no script, right? These storytellers don't have this memorized. It's not written down. You will see students, like you'll see their eyes kind of going over here sometimes. They do have a piece of paper, but on that piece of paper is what we call their roadmap. So they just have sort of a very rough outline of the direction of their story. So if you see that, that's what's happening. And then the other thing that Beth mentioned a moment ago is that this is preparing the students so that they can then begin writing personal narrative. So all this real people, real stories, storytelling work was the preparation so students understand how to do that. And I think that's a really, really exciting thing. Beth, thank you so much for being here. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you for this opportunity for all of us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, the Opera House does too, and I know I certainly do. Have a happy holiday season, and let's open the first story. So up now, our first two stories, we'll see two stories back to back. The first story is Alex Proper. Oh, and Alex's story, so you will see there's sort of a take 1 and 2, and then after Alex is Katie Fink. So let's go ahead and watch those. Enjoy.
Alex Proper.
Okay, great. So Alex, what's your story idea?
My story idea is when I tried to train a pup.
And when did this happen?
About 2 months ago.
About 2 months ago. And tell me what happened. List your plot points.
Well, I went in the house to get treats. I got her to sit a couple times. A couple. I tried to get her to lay down. She did not listen, but decided to bite me instead. I realized this was going to be pretty hard. I tried again, but she still gave me the same message. And then I went inside. Okay. But the story idea is I tried to train a pup. This happened about 2 months ago. And what happened was I went inside to go get treats. I got her to sit a couple times. I tried to get her to lay down, but she did not listen and tried to bite me instead. I realized training her would be a little harder than I thought. And then I tried again, but got the same message from her. Again, I tried, and then I went inside.
And how is she today?
Today? Good. I can get her to do way better. Way better.
Uh-huh.
Because she can sit for like pretty long. I got her to sit for like 2 minutes once. And she's hyper.
And what did you learn from this experience?
I learned that training a little pup is harder than you think, but not impossible.
Alex, that was an awesome story. Thank you very much.
Caitlin Fink.
Okay. And what's your story idea, Caitlin?
Getting lost in the Bahamas.
Okay, good. Your camera's wiggling a little bit. Can you get it stable? There you go. That's good. Are you good like that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And when did this happen? When did you get lost in the Bahamas?
Last year, right before COVID happened.
Okay. And tell us what happened. List your plot points.
So we all went on vacation with my friends in the Bahamas, and me and my friend wanted to go to the lazy river where you sit in a tube and you go down the river like in a pool, in a long pool. So our parents finally said, okay, but only go once and then meet back here. So we were like, okay, and we went and we got in the lazy river and we just went and we got off. Finally got off, and when we got off, we were in a different resort, and we were like, what happened? And all the buildings looked the same, like all the big hotels. So we were like, didn't know where we were, and we were like, so we walked into the hotel not knowing that we were lost yet, and then we said, and then we noticed stuff looked different inside the hotel, and we were like, and then we went to the lady at the front desk and said, like, what resort is this? And she said you're in the wrong resort. And so we were like, uh-oh. So we got really scared, and we were like just panicking kind of. And so we started running like walking around down the road. I mean, like down the thing, and we could see all like the pools that looked familiar, but we couldn't quite remember. like if they were the right ones. So we were just looking and walking, and then we just kind of like got so nervous, and we were like, we're never going to find our way back because we kept just going in circles. So we went up to one of the people that were working at a desk and said, we need help getting back to our resort. And so she led us back to the resort, to our resort, and we finally found our parents, and we were happy again. And they were like, and our parents were so scared because they didn't know where we were.
And what did you learn?
I learned to always stay with an adult and listen to them, like, because at first they were saying, no, don't go, and then we started begging, and then they were like, fine. So just, I kind of learned that always go with maybe your gut, because I was thinking maybe we shouldn't do this, but then I wanted to because my friend wanted to.
That was so great. That was Alex Proper, followed by Katie Fink. And, you know, first of all, I really want to meet this dog, Alex. It was such a great story. And then Katie's story, don't you want to see that log or whatever she was riding in this river? I want to see a picture of that as well. Great job, Katie. So now up next, we'll see two more stories. And the next one is Lucia Morente. And that's followed by Noah Beebe. And Noah's story is also one where you'll see me working with him, and then he'll do a take two. So let's take a look at these now.
Lucia Morante.
Okay, Lucia, what's your story idea?
Getting lost in the woods looking for wood.
Getting lost in the woods looking for wood. When did this happen?
Almost a year ago, but not fully a year ago.
Okay, and tell me what happened. What are the plot points?
So Mom kept finding perfect firewood, and then I was jealous because I couldn't find any. And then I went into the woods trying to find firewood to impress my dad. And then so I walked really far over the hills, and then I found like perfect wood. But I looked around to see the way back, and I couldn't find the path.
And then what happened?
So then I remembered what my dad said, that if you are lost, then you should listen for like the river, because there's like a stream of water. And so I was listening to it. And then I eventually found it and followed it until I reached the campsite.
And what is the main event of your story?
That I realized the path wasn't there.
Oh, see, here's the thing. So you're saying you were lost, right? So like as an audience member, I'm like, oh my gosh, Lucia's lost. She's going to get eaten by a bear. Oh my God. But actually the main event, the story, is when you realized what to do, right? So up until that point, we're not sure if you're going to get eaten by a bear or a lion or what. So what I heard you say is you were lost. Oh my gosh, I'm lost, I'm lost, I'm lost. You lost the path. But then you had this thought. You remembered your dad's voice saying, Lucia, if you get lost, listen to the river. Is that what he said? And so when you had that memory, what did you think?
I thought about what direction that I walked away from the campsite. And so I tried to listen for it. And then I walked the direction I thought it was in until I found it.
Were you scared?
I was like nervous and calm at the same time, because I was a little bit nervous because I'm lost, but I was also calm because I knew what to do.
Your father had prepared you. And was there, at what point did you realize that you weren't lost anymore? Like at a certain point you must have seen the campground or saw something that looked familiar. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So was that when things changed for you?
Yeah, I was walking and I saw the path, and then I wanted to make sure it was the right path. So I found because me and my dad go to camping a lot, so I make like trail markers. Like, okay, if you see this, then you're going the right way. So I found one of the trail markers.
That is so smart. So when you saw the marker, you're like, okay, I've got this. And then what happened after you discovered the trail marker?
I just headed the direction that my camp was in, and then I found it.
Did you tell people you'd gotten lost?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they freak out, or they were like, oh, that's nice?
They didn't freak out because we go camping a lot and I've gotten lost like once or twice. So they're telling me how that if I was too far away from the campsite, I would have gotten lost for longer because since there's a lot of hills where we were, they said that the sound bounces off the hills and then it's harder to navigate.
So they knew you weren't super lost. You thought you were lost, but you were it wasn't like serious lostness. It was just, yeah. And what did you learn from this?
I learned to not panic and remember any advice or tips you know for that situation to resolve it.
Okay, Noah. So go ahead and tell me your story idea.
I hurt my shoulder. It went into the couch.
You hurt your shoulder, went into the couch. When did this happen?
It happened Saturday 2 weeks ago. It's just today. It's 4 weeks.
Okay. And so give me the plot points. What happened?
It was Saturday morning. It was before lunch. Me and my brother were fighting. He dodged me, and I tripped.
Yeah.
And I tried to stop myself, and he didn't know I was tripping, and he accidentally pushed me, and my shoulder went to the couch.
And then what happened?
I went onto the back of the paper.
Oh, yeah.
I said
Thank you.
ow, and then got back up, played again.
And what was the main event of your story?
My main event was when I hurt my shoulder. It was my left shoulder.
So when you fell and did it hurt? When you fell, did it hurt your shoulder?
A little bit.
A little bit? And what happened after you hurt your shoulder? What was the result of that fall?
I said ow, and I said, let me sit down for a bit.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes later, I said, ready. I got back up, and we started to play again.
And what did you learn about this fall?
I learned that I have to be more careful in playing, not like just go right at him.
Yeah. Yeah. Is he an older brother or a younger brother?
He's my older brother.
Okay. Is Ms. Flores, does she keep giving you a signal to not wiggle in your chair? Yeah. I can tell because you stopped wiggling. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Noah Beebe. My scary event is when I hit my shoulder, it went into the couch. My, what are they called? Plot points. It was Saturday morning. It was before lunch. Me and my brother were playing wrestling, actually. He dodged me, then I tripped. He didn't know I was tripping, so he accidentally pushed me, and then my shoulder went into the couch.
And then what happened?
And then I said, ow. I said, let me sit down for a bit. And 5 minutes later, I said, ready. I got back up and we started to play again.
And what did you learn?
I learned that I have to be more careful in playing a game. Well, like wrestling, instead of like going super hard on each other.
Good. Noah, thank you. That was great. Well done. That was so great. That was Lucia Morente and Noah Beebe. I think we could all take camping lessons from Lucia from now on. And, Noah, I never asked you if your shoulder was okay or not. And then, of course, the big note to self, do not give storytellers chairs that swivel. Okay, so let's look at two more. We have up next Danielle Malinsky, and then she is going to be followed by CADEN COCHRANE. Here we go. So now that Ms. Flores, is it okay for her to take her mask off now?
Yeah, she's good on the way from her.
Okay, good. All right, so would you tell the camera what your name is?
Danielle Malinsky.
So your story idea is your movie, and when did this happen?
2017 till 2020.
Okay, and tell us what happened.
So I was bored, so I decided to make it. And then when I made it, I would yell at my brother all the time, so we didn't work on it for a while. And then I decided to keep working. And after a while, I finished it. And then my parents did not like it, so it got rejected. And then I forgot about it. And then I tried to make a YouTube video. And then my mom says that we should make another Agent Super Toddler. So I got that idea and I made it.
And was that is making the movie the main event of your story, the most important event?
We made the movie again.
Okay, that's the event. And then, so once you did that, what was the result of that? What happened after that?
Well, I quit again, and then I did it, and then it's not rejected, and I got to post it.
You got to post it, and didn't you get like some views?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Danielle, that's the main event of your story, right? So the story, like your story because, you know, we think, oh, her mom said it was, then she needs to redo it, wah, wah. But that's not the end. The end is here. I'll turn my camera on for a minute. The end is that you keep going and going and going until you remake it and you post it and you get views. Yay! That feels like that's where you're going for. That's where you're going to in your story, right? That's the big successful moment. So once you remade it and you posted it, you got views. What happened after that?
After that, after I posted it, my friend wanted to be a part of it, and she started stealing the idea and putting it on her own YouTube channel. And then
how'd that make you feel? How did that make you feel?
It made me feel like really annoyed and upset and not want to talk to her.
And then what did you do?
I reported the channels that she had and took it down, and now she doesn't work on it with me.
Oh, wow, that's a very adult thing to do. And what did you learn from this?
Like, anything is possible when you put your mind to it, and when first you don't succeed, try again. One day I was bored, so I decided to make a movie, and we called it Agent Super Toddler. I filmed it with my brother, but I would always yell at him. So we both quit, and we did not work on it for several months. Then I decided to keep working, and I finished it, but my mom and dad did not like it, and they said the setting was filthy, so I forgot about it. And then one day I was making a YouTube video for my channel, and my mom says that I should make a remake. So I got the idea to remake Agent Super Toddler as a musical, and then I made it. And then I quit again. I did it again, and then they loved it, and I posted it on YouTube and got so many views. But then my friend stole the movie and tried to change it up and make it her own, and she wanted to be a part of it, but I reported her channels and showed her that it was mine.
And what did you learn?
And I learned that anything is possible if we put our minds to it, and at first you don't succeed, try again.
My name is CADEN COCHRANE. Well, my story idea is the time I made an igloo.
Excellent. Hey, CADEN, can you get your leg? Your leg is in the shot. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right. So, and when did this happen?
A couple years back.
And tell us what happened. What are the different plot points? What happened?
Well, at first, I just had an idea, and then I found a perfect snowbank, and then I asked my dad to help start it. Then, as we started carving it out, we kind of make a tunnel and then it big in the middle. And then we like kind of made it nicer. And at the end, and when we finished it, it was really cool. And then, since we have renters, I think one of the kids who was there, who was renting a part of our house. Well, I forget if it's he or she. He went inside it or on the outside of it and punched a hole in it. And then eventually the rest just melted.
What do you think is the main event of your story? Like, what's the main event? What's your story working up to? What moment?
Well, the making of it is kind of working up to when it was finished. And then at the end of the climax, the kid punched a hole in it.
So when this kid punched the hole in it, that's kind of like the top of your story. And what happened after he punched the hole in it?
Well, the rest just melted. It's cool and it's fun to make igloos. Just don't trust kids not to punch holes in it. And know that it will not last.
Wonderful. Danielle, I forgot to ask you, how do I get to your YouTube channel? I want to see what this video is all about. And I'm really curious to see what kind of snow structure CADEN's going to build this year. Maybe a tiny house or something, who knows? Okay, we're going to move on. Now, all right, let's see. Oh, okay. So next we have Claire Friedrich, and I believe her story, what you're going to see will be 2 takes. And then after Claire, you will see WYATT, BRIXIUS, and I just want to call out the WYATT's use of suspense in this one. So go ahead and take a look. Audience.
Okay, I'm Claire Friedrich.
Great. And what's your story idea, Claire?
My story idea is crashing into a tree while sledding.
Oh, I remember this story. And when did this happen?
This happened about 3 years ago in the wintertime.
Tell us what happened.
Well, I woke up from a beautiful dream. And then I ate breakfast. And after that, I went outside. And I got my sleigh from the attic since it had just snowed yesterday. I got on top of it and started going down the hill. Then I started realizing that I was going way too fast, and that's when I crashed into the oak tree at the bottom.
And so that's the main event of your story, the moment you crashed?
Yeah, the part when I crashed.
And so what happened after you crashed?
Well, this is actually funny. I didn't get hurt, so I immediately went back up the hill and started sledding again.
So that was it. You crashed, you didn't get hurt, and so you just kept sledding.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. And so what did you learn from this experience?
I learned that I don't care what happens. I'm going to do the things I like to do.
All right, go ahead. Okay.
All right. So my name is Claire. My story idea is crashing into a tree while sledding. This was about 3 years ago in the wintertime. I woke up and I got outside and ate breakfast, and sleigh from the attic. I got on top of it and started going down my hill. Then I realized I was going way too fast and I crashed into the oak tree at the bottom. My main event of the story is when my sled hit the tree. And after that, I didn't get hurt, so I went back up to the hill and kept sledding again. And I learned that I don't care what happens. I'm going to do the things I like to do. Hi, my name is Wyatt, and my story title is my scaring my brother and sister.
Go on. When did this happen?
About a month ago.
Tell us what happened. Tell us your plot points.
Well, my brother and sister were watching TV. They wondered where I was, so they walked downstairs. But they walked downstairs and then they stopped at the middle of the stairs and then they looked down and they started walking again. They looked behind the couch, they looked behind everything, they looked under the coffee table, they looked everywhere. But the one place they didn't check is the dark room. They walked over to the dark room. They stopped, they waited a second, and they walked to their bedroom. They started walking again. This is my main event. The main event of my story is when my siblings walked into the dark room. I scared them. They screamed. Then when I scared them, they got really mad at me. I didn't know why, but it's okay. My lesson learned is do not scare your brother and sister or you're gonna get in trouble for it.
And did you get into trouble?
Yup.
Great job, Claire and Wyatt. That was amazing. I have this image in my head of Claire flying down a hill on a sled going 50 miles an hour. And remember what I said before about Wyatt's story? His use of suspense was classic. Good job, Wyatt. Okay, we're gonna move on. We have two more storytellers. We have more. The next two are CORELL PRUESS, followed by Anthony ZEOLI. And then in Anthony's story, you'll also see a take two of sorts. Enjoy.
My name is CORELL.
Great. And what's your story idea?
Dog attack.
Dog attack. And when did this happen?
Four years ago.
And so what happened in your story?
I got attacked by the dog. I bled a lot and I went to the hospital.
So how did you get bit by the dog? What happened? Like, were you playing with it and then it bit you, or did it just run up to you and bite you? How did this take place?
So I accidentally looked in the dog's eyes.
So you just sort of arrived, the dog was there, you know, you're settling in, you look at the dog right in the eye, it looks at you, and then the dog's like, chomp. Okay. And then after it bit you, they were like, oh my gosh, CORELL has to go to the hospital. So you went to the hospital, and were you afraid that you were, like, did you think you were going to be really hurt?
No, I was shocked.
You were shocked. Did you think you needed stitches?
No, I got butterfly stitches.
You got butterfly stitches.
Yeah.
So what happened after that? What was the result of going to the hospital?
Well, after a couple of years, the scar healed.
And what did you learn about all this, CORELL?
That I'm brave.
My name is Anthony ZEOLI.
Okay, and what's your story idea?
How I woke up my sister
I remember this story. When did this happen?
last month.
So tell us what happened. What are your plot points? What happened?
I waked my sister. She didn't wake up. I told Mom. She said, you aren't dressed. I got dressed. I said, "You are a liar." I woke my sister again. She didn't wake up. I told my mom, and that's all.
Oh, okay. What's the main event in your story?
To wake her up.
But did you wake her up?
She didn't get dressed.
But did you go into her room? Were you like, get up? Like, did you wake her up?
Yeah.
And what happened when you woke her up?
She didn't get dressed, so I left because it was creepy.
Wait a minute. So you went into a room and were you like, you know, get up, get dressed. Mom wants you dressed. Or were you like super nice? And were you like, good morning, sister? How did you wake your sister up?
I was kind of in the middle.
So you woke her up. You weren't that mean, but you weren't super nice.
Yeah.
And then you tried to wake her up, but did she get up?
She got up.
She got up.
Sat there, and it was creepy.
She just sat there like a zombie?
Yep.
And then what did you do?
I let her miss the bus.
So she got up and she was just sitting there and you're like, all right, my job's done. And so, but she didn't get dressed, so she missed the bus.
Yep.
And did you miss the bus?
Nope. Oh, I've been saying I waked my sister. It was my story idea. I whacked my sister. She didn't wake up. I told Mom. She said, "You aren't dressed." I got dressed. I said, "You're a liar." I whacked my sister again. She didn't wake up. I told Mom to wake her up. And my main event is to get my sister up. And she didn't get dressed, so I left because it was creepy. I let my sister miss the bus.
That was CORELL, followed by Anthony. Well done, you two. I don't know if people could make it out at the very end of CORELL's story when I asked him what he learned, and he said he learned that he was brave. So thank you for that, CORELL. We can all use some more bravery and courage right about now. And then, you know, Anthony's story was really great. And the moment where he realized that it wasn't wake, it was whack. That's such a live theater moment, Anthony, you know, when we realized we were misreading the script. It's just like in the real theater. Okay, so we're gonna move on and we're down to our last 3 stories of the day. So we're gonna do 3 in a row this time. First, you will see Gloriana SHEAK, and then followed by Julia Shackley Bungay. And Julia's story will have 2 takes, and the final one will be Felicity Dennis. So let's take a look. Again?
Hi, I'm Gloriana.
Okay, Gloriana, what's your story idea?
I'm going to tell about the time that I fell off my bike. So one day I was just bored in my room over the summer. I was just thinking to myself, what should I do today? Should I watch TV? No, I'm not going to do that. Should I paint something? No. No, I'll ask my mom if we can go for a bike ride. So I did. I walked up to my mom while she was in the living room. And I was just like, Mom, want to go for a bike ride? It's nice out. So, and she said yes. She told me, go get your helmet. So then we went outside, went for a bike ride, and then on our way back, I did a wheelie. And when I did my wheelie, my front tire touched the ground. Then suddenly I was just flying. And then I was on the ground with my bike on top of me. My lip was huge, like my lip was filling my mouth. I thought all my teeth had came out because all I could feel was my lip. Then after that, we went home. I was sitting in the living room with a wet washcloth on my lip. Then my mom let me take a bath with a teal bath bomb. Then after that, my mom gave me some ice cream. And then we watched some Survivor once my mom's boyfriend got home. We watched a couple episodes of Survivor because that's like my family's favorite show. We watched Survivor. Did I mention that I got ice cream?
And what did you learn?
I learned that sometimes you gotta just keep going. So I'm Julia.
Your story idea is what?
When I went fishing
Okay, and when did this happen?
last year.
Okay, tell us what your plot points are. What happened?
So when we went there, I had to spend the night. Then in the morning, I had to wake up early, get my spot ready, and then when we started fishing in the morning, this person had hooked up a fish for me, and he let me catch it and keep it.
Wow, and is that the main event of the story?
Yeah.
Wow, and what happened after you caught the fish?
Well, after we caught the fish, I went home and cut it up and ate it.
You cut up the fish yourself?
No, my dad did it.
No,
And my
wait,
dad went with me to catch the fish.
Okay, now I want to back up for a minute. So when you caught the fish, how did that make you feel?
I felt happy, but it was hard.
It was hard, but you felt happy, like you'd achieved
Yeah.
something? So then after that, you went home and you ate the fish. And what did you learn from this?
Well, I learned that fishing is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you learned?
Salmon.
It was salmon. Okay. All right. So that's great, Julia. So you're going to go back and start again.
Okay.
Tell us what your story idea is, when this happened, all the different things that happened, all the way to the main event of when you caught the fish, how that made you feel. Then after that, what happened? You went home, you cut it up, you gobbled it up, and then what you learned. Okay. You think you can do that?
Yeah.
All right. Take it again. Go ahead.
So my idea is when I went fishing, it was last year, this nice person, hooked up a fish for me and let me catch it and keep it. And then I was happy when I caught it, and when I caught it, I went home, cut it up, and ate it.
How'd it taste?
It was good.
It was good?
My baby sister liked it.
And what did you learn from this?
I learned that it was hard to catch a fish, salmon.
It's hard to catch salmon? That's what you learned? That's great. Thank you, Julia. Good job.
Hello, I'm Felicity.
So tell us, what is your story idea?
Playing Roblox.
Playing Roadblock. And when is the most important time that you remember playing Roadblock?
I don't remember what particular time, but it was like probably 1 week ago.
A week ago. And so what happened during this particular game of Roadblock? What happened?
Well, when I first got introduced to it, I was kind of confused how I played it, and then I saw how everybody else was playing out the game, so I followed them. And then I kept dying, so I did it my own way.
So you were playing, but you kept dying, and I'm assuming dying's not a good thing to do in this game?
Yeah.
And then when we were talking before, you said in this game you made it to your success was you made it to some level or something?
Yeah.
And what was this? What was so important about this level? What happened in this level?
Like, you cross the sewer, and then the sewer like floods, and you have to do parkour, like fast parkour. And then I got to the end, and there's this big boss that used to try to fight.
So your big success was somehow making it to this level that was a sewer, and you moved through the sewer and got to a big box. Did I get that right?
Big boss.
A big boss. Yeah, okay. And what did you learn from this, Felicity?
Learn that you have to do it a different way.
You have to do things a different way. Why?
So you can keep getting to new levels.
So if you keep trying things different ways, then you can become more successful. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's great, Felicity. Good job. You told a good story. Thank you. Gloriana, Julia, and Felicity, well done. Those were 3 fantastic stories. Gloriana, your story was the second bike accident story we've had here at the Opera House in just a couple weeks. We had a story 2 weeks ago that had a bike accident. So I guess it's a pattern. And Julia, one of the things that I'll remember about your story is, the salmon. It sounded really yummy, but just the gesture of kindness. That person that sort of set you up with that line is, I think, really, a great story to hear, especially at this time of year. And then finally, Felicity, I will just forever have this picture of you celebrating making it to the sewer level in that game. I can't quite imagine what that would look like, but I'm sure it's fantastic. And thank you, everyone, to all the storytellers. That is our show for today. 13 stories from the Taconic Hills Middle School. Thank you to all of you for coming. And we're just so excited that we can finish off our 5th anniversary season with you with this really special program. I need to thank a bunch of people, and I have to pull the piece of paper close to my face. Oh, the playbill. We have a playbill and it's online. So if you want to learn a bit more about the program, you can go to our website, go to the performances page, click on Real People, Real Stories, and you'll find the playbill. Thank you again to the Taconic Hills Central School District, to the middle school, to all the teachers and the staff, including the principal, Mr. Guli Sain. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you again to Beth. A big thanks to the Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation's Fund for Columbia County. They supported this program, this collaboration with the school. And then thank you to our individual donors. Thank you to all of you. Thank you so much. And also thank you to the New York State Council for the Arts, Furthermore, Fair Game, Harrington Fuels, Hammertown, Stewart's Shops. And if you would like to support the Ancram Opera House, we would definitely welcome that. As many of you know, our programming this entire year has been free. And, but it did cost money. And so if you are able to donate, we would be very grateful. We are also in the middle of our end of year appeal. Go to ancramoperahouse.org and you can click on donate there. And we just want to finish off this show by acknowledging that it's been a very difficult year for all of us. We have missed you very, very much. We've missed all of you coming into the Opera House and sharing with all of you the amazing work, the artists, the storytellers that come here. We hope to have you back here again as soon as it is safe. In the meantime, please have a happy, healthy, and safe holiday season. And here's to 2021. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.